Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker. In the news recently, we have been celebrating Janet Jackson. First of all, earlier it was actually her birthday, her 60th birthday, which she still looks beautiful. She's definitely aging gracefully. Next, we've also seen her accept an award at the Grammy Hall of Fame. Congratulations to her. Now, the other news is a little controversial, which I'm coming to learn that she had some issues with the movie Michael. She wasn't really too crazy about how everybody was portrayed. So one particular source that I read, I'm not sure if this is legit, because I haven't seen any other sources talk about it, but they're saying that Janet is thinking about doing her own biopic. Sorry, not thinking about, but she's actually going to do her own biopic. Now, I am a Michael Jackson fan, stan, if you will, but I am also part of that Rhythm Nation, and if this is true, I am definitely excited, and I definitely will be looking at this particular movie that is set to come out. When? I don't know. I was thinking to myself, since Janet is relatively private, she's a mother of, I believe now, a 10-year-old, she might put that movie on the back burner, like wait until he's, let's say, 20 or so. I don't know. And again, it was only one source, so who knows if this is going to happen or if it's not going to happen. But it would be interesting to learn a little bit more about the dynamic of growing up in the family as a female, right? We heard about LaToya, but we really haven't heard much from Janet, and definitely not enough from Rebe. So that would definitely be interesting. I'm not sure if the biopic is going to be called Janet or if it's going to be called the Jackson Sisters, but I'm here for it. As a matter of fact, I would like to see more biopics from the family. I would like to see one on Jackie, one on Jermaine, one on Randy, okay, one on Joe Jackson, okay. I would like to see one on all of those people. I would even see one on Catherine, believe it or not. I'm interested. I'm that invested. I'm that invested. But anyway, what I wanted to really talk about too, and I hope if she does do a biopic, I hope she covers these situations that she has been in and not skip over it, brush over it, what have you. Okay? And that is her relationships as well as her real estate holdings. Because real estate is my background. This is what the channel is about. So, let's go back. Let's go way back to Janet's first marriage to James DeBarge. Now, when she was married to James, she had no assets. And the two of them lived in the family home, which was Havenhurst. All right. She did not own Havenhurst at the time. So when the marriage was annulled within like a year or so, there were really no assets to divide up. So James basically left with a broken heart. Now, as Janet became more established and more successful, she began to buy more property in California and New York in particular. She does have homes currently also in Vegas and London, but I don't believe when she married her next husband, which is Renee Elizondo, I don't believe she had the Vegas and London properties as of yet. All right. So Renee and Miss Jackson, they lived actually in San Diego, California. However, there really aren't any records with his name on the property. So I guess it is safe to say for now, for the information that we have, that Janet is the one that purchased that property and not Renee. Now, Janet and Renee did have a prenuptial agreement. It was signed and everything. However, Renee contested that prenuptial, saying that he signed it under duress, and he took her to court for it. Here's the thing. I do remember that during that particular time, Janet was definitely under other contractual agreements that she had to make do, meaning there were concerts, there were tours, there were interviews, etc., etc., etc. This divorce probably got in the way because she had the right of hand, from what I know, to not give him anything. But instead, because he was so aggressive and because she had all of this going on, I think she was stressed out. And because I do remember her canceling certain concerts and everything else like that. And, when you cancel those things, money is lost. And a lot of people are connected to that. A lot of people don't get paid when they don't perform at those concerts. And I believe this took a toll on her, and that's why they agreed to go ahead and they agreed to settle with him. And he got some money from that particular property. I believe she sold it. I don't think she has that anymore. She sold that property. And I know that he got like $10 million for spousal support. It was just a one-time fee. Okay? Just a one-time fee. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I got to preface to say that. Even though I've worked in a law firm, several law firms for about 30 years now, I will say this to you. There is a book that I do recommend called Beyond the Grave. It's written by an attorney. And in that book, it says that you really should put your properties inside of a trust, particularly if you're going to get married or if you're already married and you had the property before the marriage. You probably should put it in a foreign trust, because when it's in a foreign trust, the United States government laws do not affect foreign entities, foreign LLCs, foreign trusts, etc., etc. I'm not sure why her attorneys never mentioned this to her, or maybe she didn't consult with her attorneys before she went ahead and got married, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes, even though you have the support, sometimes people don't always go to the support beforehand. They wait until after, because they rule with their heart, or they let their heart lead instead of their head. Sometimes it doesn't even occur to them, hey, you know what, you probably should talk to your lawyer about how to protect your assets before you marry the guy. And she knew, like most people, about prenuptial agreement, but she probably didn't know about trust. So I'm not sure what happened there. I know from working for a law firm for 30 years that there are some lawyers who don't get any sleep, especially those who don't make partner. They will stay up all night long, sometimes 3 days straight. And when that happens, there are things that they're going to miss because they're not as alert. A lot of people think it's cute not to get any rest, not to get any sleep, and to just work straight through. But that's actually not smart. It affects your decision-making process. And a lot of times things slip. That's why you have to be your own advocate, and that's why you have to read those books. or books like the one that I'm recommending. Because if you don't, and then you go to a lawyer that hasn't been, hasn't rested up and what have you, this kind of thing can slip their mind. And it's innocent. It's not like they do it on purpose to hurt you. But it eventually does end up costing you a lot of money in the end, such as what happened with Janet. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming, because I really don't get, why the prenuptial agreement that she signed was not enforced, and why they actually had to go to the bargaining table. All right. So I'm going to have to read up a little bit more too about duress. I don't want nobody coming back to me and talk about, oh, I signed this because I was under duress. I was under extreme pressure. You know what I mean? I can understand, like, when you look at Real House of Atlanta with Candy, where she made Todd sign that agreement on the day of marriage. That agreement should have been given to him maybe a week or maybe a month before. I'm not certain about the situation between Janet and Renee. All I know is that he got $10 million plus, I believe, part of the sale from that house in North San Diego. Okay. And then now, moving right along, we fast forward to when Janet marries this billionaire guy from the Middle East. I do not know how to say his name. I do not want to butcher it, so I'm going to leave it alone. Okay? But in this particular situation, thank goodness she didn't lose any property, even though she had property. Because now this time she has the Vegas property and she had the London property. She was able to keep those. I know that she did sell the New York property. Not sure. I think the New York property was not because of the divorce. I believe she sold it because she wasn't visiting that particular property in like the past 3 years. Her family is mainly in California. She has a son. So I think it was mainly done for ease, if you will. And she has to be smart about her money. Even though she's a millionaire, she still has a son that she has to raise, and she has to be careful on how money is allocated. All right. So kudos for her for doing that. Anyway, in that divorce proceeding that she got from the kid's father, it was $100 million for the divorce that he paid her, and another $100 million for the child that he paid her. So money-wise, financially-wise, she made out. Love-wise, I hope there is better for her, because I would love to see her, and I would love to see anybody, honestly. I like seeing people in good, loving relationships. So that is my take on it. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed what I've just shared. Please feel free to share this amongst your friends. Click like, comment below, subscribe if you haven't. Okay? And until next time, have a good night.